I think it should be a rule that if Robert Englund says it, that it should be okay. I mean, but anyway, what's up, my friends in film fandom, wherever you might be, and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us some of your time. You know, more horror movies have been on this channel lately because I've found more joy in them lately. Tex has brought on a lot more. The genre as a whole has gone through a renaissance with some very great movies, but we're going back. We're digging deep into the horror roster of B-rate, low-budget movies where, honestly, the genre thrives, in my opinion, to talk about this film tonight. And here with me, as always, are my two horror aficionados. Starting with my hetero life mate, Jeremy. What's up, brother?
Oh, I'm unmuted. Okay. Well, I at least decided to wear this shirt today because I was kind of confused as to why we were watching Friday the 13th, part 87 something, The Return. I don't fucking know anymore. Because that's about 20% of what this movie is, and the other 80% of it you couldn't fucking see. So I'm not really sure what I watched because I couldn't see it. But ow, motherfucker!
Friday's Nightmare of the 13th on Elm Street, something like that. Yeah.
But this one's in the swamp though, so it's different.
With a jester man with candy. I don't fucking know. Whatever.
And of course, the shape from the start of state, my man Tex. What's up, brother?
Oh, happy Mardi Gras, people! Isn't it great? Abusing alcohol, naked women, debauchery. This is one of the most wonderful times of the year. Like, why this is not a national holiday? Kids should get the day off from school. So many things. But the most important thing to remember, you can't hook up with itchy chicks. That you bring that shit home with you. That's the most important thing about Mardi Gras. Don't do that when you go. Don't ask me how I know. But what's up, everybody?
Yes, I also put it down in the banner below. Tex has also promised to do a body shot off Casey is Raw for every $1 donated tonight. So hit those links in the description.
See,
let's get him drunk as fuck off Casey's body.
That is fake news, sir. We don't promote that in this house. But you do all the shots off of his gelatinous ass you want. You go crazy. So good.
Go vote in the poll tonight. I couldn't think of anything good to put in the poll on YouTube. So it basically just says why. And your choices are don't know, I don't know, I don't give a fuck, and I don't speak English. I mean, gay. So, hey, have fun.
But I will say credit to Dr. Nick. We have the classic Casey sticks video games up his ass, but he's put in the work to change it up over these last few weeks. I am noticing the hard work and time there, Dr. Nick. So bravo.
Well, variety is a spice of life. Nick knows that.
There you go. All good.
Cora said she's looking forward to this review of a sweet, innocent movie. Well, wrong channel tonight.
I can't wait. I can
channel. Change
that. So just in a second, I can change that.
Yeah, go Google Bayou Beavers film, and you'll see what Yes, that is where we're at tonight. And I just realized I forgot to print up any of my stuff.
We're in the gutter, and I'm swimming with both hands, buddy. This is my domain. This is my kind of movie right here. I love it.
So I will be reading off of the. Oh God, now I got too many things aggravating myself.
Hey, I got the beads. I'm ready for Mardi Gras, lady. Let's see them. Let's get them out here. Come on.
I got the beads too. See, I got the little mini gear shot glass. So
I got the Mardi Gras mask. I got it all. I'm ready to party. So
yeah. So for every $1 donated, Tex will do a body shot off Casey is Wrong, and I'll just do a shot of this glass right here on my neck. And Jeremy's got some liquor somewhere he can drink if he wants.
What? Just say my line that I wish I cared.
yeah, pretty much.
If I have merch, that's gonna be one of them.
Get drunk and you'll care. You'll care.
There you go.
But let's get right down to it now. We are here to talk about Hatchet. Hatchet is a 2006 American slasher film written and directed by Adam Green. The film has an ensemble cast, including Joel David Moore, Tamara Feldman, Deon Richmond, Mercedes McNab, Parry Shen, Joel Murray, Josh Leonard, and horror legends, the late, great Tony Todd, Robert Englund, and Kane Hodder. The plot follows a group of tourists on a New Orleans haunted swamp tour who accidentally get stranded in the wilderness, only to be hunted by a vengeful, supernatural, deformed man who kills anyone that enters the swamp. Hatchet premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival on April 27th of 2006, before releasing in limited theaters domestically on September 7th of 2007. It received mixed reviews from critics, but it became a cult classic among audiences. The film's success spawned a film series, including 3 sequels and a comic book series that followed thereafter. The film was a modest success, making about $1.5 million against a budget of just over $200,000. Based on 51 reviews collected by Rotten Tomatoes, Hatchet has an overall 57% approval rating from critics, with an average score of 5.6 out of 10. The consensus review reads, quote, "The over-the-top gore, campy action, and dim cinematography may be part of Hatchet's self-described old-school ethos, but irony alone cannot sustain a horror film." And that's, I don't know, that's kind of valid. I don't know. I'm sure we'll have some competing opinions about this film a little bit tonight, but at the end of the day, I think we're all going to come down to the same place. I'll start with you first, Jeremy. What do you think of Hatchet?
Again, I don't know because I couldn't see the whole fucking movie. Seriously, good fucking god. There's, I mean, like, you can do scenes, do them dark, and still like light them somewhat, decently. But as a, I guess, return to form, like, B-grade horror movie from akin to the 70s and 80s, like we've said, is that sweet spot. That's definitely the love letter it's being written to. And it's in that time, like we've talked about before in the early 2000s. We're starting to get towards the end of it, but like this is that another sweet spot of horror where you start getting the start getting the more brutal stuff like Saw and the remakes of well, I think it was the next year, right? It was Friday the 13th again, but
no, that was 2009 was the Friday remake. No,
you're right, 2009. So a few years later. But yeah, you're hitting that other sweet spot. So it's a nice tandem of what it was trying to go for. There were some cool kills. There's one that obviously stood out the best, just for its technical aspect. We'll get to it. I'm doing this, and that should give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Although there's 2 that could be, for spinning, but you'll know when we get there. But yeah. I'm glad I got to see 3 like titans of horror in this movie, albeit for even just a cameo. Like I don't even care. That's still cool to see in this kind of movie.
Tex, how about you? Give me your thoughts on Hatchet before we get all the spoilery goodness.
Yeah, I've been a fan of this franchise for a long time. I love this film. I love just that line with their old school American movie. Adam Green is a super fan of the Friday the 13th films, all of the slasher stuff. I'll get into more of that once we talk about him. But this was just kind of what Jeremy was talking about a minute ago. This is a return to form of what like horror slashers were. This film is a happy mix of Friday the 13th and with elements from Halloween, and it's a fun movie. It's a fun, disgusting, bloody movie that you don't have. The kills are so over the top that you don't have to take them seriously, which I'll also talk about later when we go, talk about other things. But yeah, I love this franchise. I was telling Frank before we started. Not only did I watch this movie or rewatch this movie for the review, I watched the entire franchise, all 4 movies back to back within 2 days. They're great movies. They're fun. They make fun of themselves. And they're, for any slasher fan, this is a must, and I firmly believe that Victor Crowley does not get the respect that he deserves because he is awesome. So, love the guy.
Yeah, I thought there was one point in this movie where I was kind of watching it while I was pulling some pictures for this stream, and I went down a bit of a rabbit hole looking for pictures. I just wasn't watching the movie at all. It just the act of putting the stream together pulled me away from the movie because I thought the movie was very average. I actually had to rewind the movie about 30 minutes to go back to where I kind of lost track of it so I could watch the rest of it moving forward. Look, I mean, it's visually, aesthetically, the way it's put together, it is a nice throwback to the late 70s, early 80s, early mid 80s horror. I wasn't overly impressed with a lot of aspects of it. I mean, there was a couple of kills that were fantastic. I kind of looked at them. They were so good that I laughed at them. I wasn't like appalled. I actually laughed at them because they were just so cool. They were very well done. They were 2 people that deserved them, of course. But But for the most part, there wasn't anything wildly new. There wasn't anything. It's like it was a good homage, but the thing about homages is that there are two things that we are already very familiar with. That's kind of the problem with making a movie that is a bit of a retrospective or your like fan fiction of something, is that it's really hard to make something like that and make it new, to give me something that I haven't seen a million times already. It was a good movie overall. I'm going to try to sit and watch it again after this when I'm not trying to put a stream together for it so I can really pay attention to it. But overall, I was not blown away. And it's not that it's not good. It's just that there were certain things about it that I wasn't fond of. I know that this director, and we'll talk about him here in a minute, is fairly young and fairly new, and is kind of bouncing back and forth between on screen and behind the camera and stuff. So maybe if he's not concentrating and directing, that can kind of hurt your vision. But if this was his first movie he had ever done, I would say not bad, because the first time you do something, you're usually bad at it. And this actually was a decent movie. So I would say if this is your first effort, I expect a certain amount of growth that would mean that you're going to be a good filmmaker. But this is like I think his third or fourth thing that he's done or something like that. They've all been relatively small.
Yeah, he's done a few things.
But yeah, I haven't really seen him really try to get into it and really go balls deep into trying to make like the perfect film. But we'll get into it a little bit. But let's talk first about the cast of the film. I'm clicking the wrong thing here. Let's talk first about the cast of the film. I'll go to you first, Tex. What do you think of the cast of the film, and who stood out to you the most? Not including those really weak cameos.
Oh yeah, the cameo. Jesus Christ, we could spend an hour just praising the cameos. But even the cast within this film, I think is tremendous. I mean, I'll go with my favorite first, but Tamara Feldman as Mary Beth. Every slasher is only as good as his final girl or his Nancy, his Lori, his whatever. And I love her in this role. Now, for the ones who have seen the rest of the franchise, you'll know that Danielle Harris of horror fame takes over this role for parts 2 and 3. We don't see Tamara Feldman again, but I loved her in this movie. I thought she was both the don't get me final girl, which that picture shows, but at the same time she was like, motherfucker, I've got a gun and I'm ready to kill you. Like, she was prepared to do what she needed to do. And I love how she held it down. She was smart. She was the straight character to every slasher needs that dumb girl that, whatever. And for that, we had Jenna and Misty, which, by the way, the interactions between those two, the lick me, bitch, no thanks. I don't like syphilis on my tongue. Your nipples are stupid. Like, the lines back and forth. The dialogue in this film was tremendous. Jenna and Misty holding down that part, but for the strong female lead that you can root for, and it wasn't super girl bossy Mary Sue kind of thing. Tamara Feldman. I mean, I thought she killed it at this point. Literally.
I don't know. Jeremy, what do you think about the cast and who stood out to you?
Well, yeah, obviously, if you open this movie with Freddy Krueger, and you tell me that the dad, who's also
But the bitch piece sitting down.
Jason Voorhees, and then you have Tony Todd just basically being fucking Tony Todd. Rest in peace. Yeah, that's three easy winners right there. Obviously, as soon as I saw him, like, Richard Rehill's obviously my fucking favorite. I don't know why when they pulled the boat over and he asked the tour guide, I'm like, I'm surprised he didn't look at him and go like, so what would you say you actually do here?
It's your first time? Are you new at this?
And I was already like, he's gonna die, isn't he? But Office Space aside, I liked Deon Richmond, who's Marcus, and Joel David Moore as Ben, because like Tex said, like, the back and forth between Jenna and Misty, like the back and forth between Marcus and Ben feel like I feel like they're actually buddies and they just dig at each other.
Great.
Back and forth.
Hey, can you spot me? I'm not paying for this shit.
No, because I'm not paying for this shit. Yeah. They're pretty fun. And yeah, Tamara Feldman does it was kind of confusing because I mean, even like when you hear from Robert Englund, since that's also his daughter in the movie, compared to the son, her brother, because he says like, why can't you be more like her? And it's like, well, yeah, she's apparently supposed to be just the kind of the polar opposite. And like we said, she does have the dimension of being like, oh shit, like there's you can be well-meaning all you want with a gun going into a swamp, but when you're face to face with this like 7-foot like deformed motherfucker coming at you like a freight train, it's like it's kind of scary, But it was kind of confusing because I'm like, well, is she supposed to be kind of badass? Because you don't like flip a gun sideways and start like going like this when you're gonna shoot somebody. I'm like, okay, you had one good shot on him and you didn't even think to shoot him again. So I don't know. It was a little confusing, but at least she was the one who had the smarts to at least bring a gun out there and had the intention of trying to find her dad and brother. So I don't know. And the
I think that's kind of the beauty.
Tour guide guy was pretty fucking funny too.
You mean the one dude playing another dude playing another dude? Or as I refer to him, the fake Cajun Asian, because it's just such a great name for that guy. Yeah, he was great. Parry Shen. But to touch on Mary Beth, what you were talking about, doesn't it kind of fit though? Obviously, she knows her daddy and brother have a bad reputation, and it's Mardi Gras week. They probably just disappeared into a bar somewhere, but she goes looking for them. She has a plan, but what does Mike Tyson say? Everybody's got a plan until you get hit in the face. Like, I think that's kind of how that plays out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or until you see somebody get their face ripped in half. So
yeah, until you see a gelatinous, retarded-looking man with an axe coming at you, that changes things. But yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I thought the cast was pretty good. I didn't think they were fantastic. I like Joel David more. He's been in a lot of movies that I've liked. He's been good in a lot of movies that I've liked. I was the final, the main girl, whatever her name is, I forget already.
Mary Beth.
Yeah, Mary Beth.
She, as I was watching the movie, she reminded me. That stupid commercial where the Airheads commercial, with the kids that are getting chased by the chainsaw wielding man, and she's just like, "Let's go hide behind chainsaws." It's like it.
I've seen
that. Was an insurance commercial.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
is
it insurance?
Dumb decision.
She reminds me of one of the girls in that commercial. Like the whole movie, I was like, it's like I can get behind Heather Langenkamp or somebody like that, but like this girl, I was like, you remind me right now of that girl that's like, let's run upstairs to get away from the killer. The one who embodies those tropes that tend to drive us nuts about horror movies. That was kind of disappointing to me because like I don't think she didn't strike me as a bad actress. I just feel like maybe that character was not written the right way. Look, anytime you have Robert Englund on camera, I'm gonna be happy. I mean,
it's tremendous
for the most part. And same thing with the late great Tony Todd, one of the
icons
of horror.
Reverend
acting.
Zombie.
The guy has been good in everything, even the non-horror stuff that I've seen him in. But and of course, Kane Hodder, who is good. I mean,
he's Kane Hodder. So
Kane Hodder.
Technically, you get two Kane Hodders in this movie, father and son.
Technically speaking, yes. But I did catch that part, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." You actually can see Kane Hodder's face. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, finally.
Pay respect to his actual face because he deserves it. One of the things that ends up happening with me is like you cast an icon. You have Robert Englund, Tony Todd, and you have 3 seconds of screen time. Come on, man! If you've got,
I ain't got the budget for that kind of shit. I mean,
yeah, but you know what?
That's what it comes down to.
I have seen guys like Robert Englund do way more in movies that did not spend more than $1 million total production cost. Look, Robert Englund is one of those guys. I've heard he's very, very nice. I've never actually met him. I've heard he's a wonderful guy.
I've met him before. He's cool.
He will do a lot for young horror filmmakers just to show up and be there because he knows just his face on camera is a certain draw. But I was like, if you've got him, I mean, use him a little more. Now, it was cool. The opening scene, it wasn't like it was just 30 seconds and he was gone. I mean, it was slightly better than Tony Todd.
Like 35 seconds and he was gone.
Yeah, it's slightly better than Tony Todd's, him being there one scene, a little bit of exposition, and he ducks back in, closes the door, you never see him again. But
check out Hatchet 2 then, if you want to Tony Todd.
But I'm like, if you've got these two icons of horror, I'm talking to these guys like, hey, can I get 2 or 3 good scenes out of you guys? Because that alone would it would draw a lot of people in to really pay more attention to the movie. Because if you see these guys show up and disappear, that so does
especially in the beginning of the movie. That's the last time you see him.
So does most of my interest at that point. Because I was talking to Tex before we started, and I was like, I was getting into like putting the stream together and just stopped watching the movie for like 30 minutes, and I had to rewind it to go back to where I kind of lost track of it to watch it again, because I wasn't drawn to the movie that much. Until you get into the third act and you really get to see Victor Crawley and like the real visuals, the older couple that gets murdered. That was actually my favorite kills of the entire movie. But yeah, the movie just mills along for a while, and it kind of bothered me. The cast though was pretty good.
We're gonna run to this dark corner. We're gonna talk for a bit. We're gonna run to this corner. We're gonna run here. I'm like, oh my god, do something.
And they're not making fun of the horror tropes as much as they are falling into the traps of those tropes. They're just like doing them to do them, but that's the plot, I guess.
That's one thing I can't say.
It would be like 40 minutes long if it didn't do any of that.
That's one thing I can say about this franchise, at least for the first three. Now, 4 is a bit different the way it's built out. The first 3 films, they all take place within 2 days. You, in the structure of the films, basically lay out with grotesque, awesome opening kill. Then we meet the rest of our cast for about 30 to 45 minutes. And then that last 15 to 30 minutes is balls to the wall. That's how the first 3 are structured. And Adam Green he likes that format this way. He kind of took the Eli Roth approach of
I felt
slow build. You know,
I felt like that he was like, we're gonna build up the hype by showing you Robert Englund and Tony Todd. And then when those guys, and when we're done with those guys, we're gonna let you ride that high for about 20 minutes of just
until you get to the end. Yeah.
Of just pointless movie that doesn't matter, pointless dialogue, him crying about his girlfriend leaving him or whatever, stumbling around another girl, and then by the time you notice there's a movie still playing, that's when we've gone ahead and introduced you to the visual of Victor Crawley. And I'm like, why not just make a short horror film instead of, because somebody like me watches the movie. It's like, so I appreciate seeing those guys on screen, but then when those guys are gone, I'm wanting more dialogue. I'm wanting some substance. And it was just basically like the whole Beaver Bayou subplot of him recording these girls, making out or whatever. It's like
genius idea, by the way. Like that is tremendous.
To do with the movie.
It's funny for a scene, but that carries like the second act, and I'm like, I'm not here for this. This isn't horror. This is a comedic subplot that runs over the middle part of your movie.
We'll say at least the characters were all different in their own respect. Or like, you have the 2 like ditzy girls, you have like the pervy camera guy, you got like the sweet married couple who's just there to have a good time.
There's a sweet old couple. They're shooting a porno. I thought that is hilarious.
Yeah, I know. You got all these dynamics, which are pretty funny to me. So I'm like, at least you got the diversity and the fact that it's okay, all these aside from the main 3 of like Marcus, Ben, and like Mary Beth, I'm like, they all suck. I mean, I didn't want
Well, they're made for the fodder. That's why they're there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're hotter for fodder.
Fodder for hotter.
literally for hotter.
Like that. Reverse it. Thank you. But we've
kind
kind of already dug into it a little bit. But let's go into the plot of the movie now, and I'll go to you first, Tex. Give me your thoughts on the plot of the film, and is there anything you would have changed?
No, I like this plot. I like the way. A quick backstory. Basically, Freddy versus Jason comes out. 04, 05, whatever that is. And Kane Hodder gets snubbed out of playing Jason. He is originally slotted to play him, doesn't get it. He's pissed off, mad. Well, Adam Green is a super fan of the Jason films and whatever. So he basically comes up with this idea, pitches it to Kane Hodder to have his own slasher, which is Victor Crowley. And the film gets made. That he has creative input. You get to see his face, everything else. So getting into the plot, that's why you see so much of Kane Hodder, because like Frank said a minute ago, he does play other roles besides Jason. He's done a few good movies, but I like that this is so heavy upon him while at the same time he's the ghost. The whole plot of the husband with the dying wife in the backwoods, and they bring in the helper, she's dying of the stomach cancer and everything else. And if you're going to cheat on your cancerous ridden wife, don't touch the bitch in front of her. That's the stupidest that, like, you're a dumb man. Like, hide it a little bit. Go outside. You're in the swamp. But I like the plot. I like the whole voodoo kind of stuff. I'm into that. I dig it. I like how they play with that in this film. Now, I will say, plot-wise, they could have took about 20 minutes out of that middle of, like you said, the crying, over the girlfriend, and I'll bet she's getting banged out on the couch that my mom bought her, whatever. We don't need all of those things. We can trim the fat in the middle of this plot, but the best way to watch these films, at least the first three, is back to back to back. Because if you do that, it's one page after another that adds up to really beef this plot up. Just watching it by itself, it doesn't play as well. But I love this plot. I like the story. I like the role of taking horror tropes from the past when horror was great and bringing it to the modern 2000s. I like how Adam Green worked that in. This is, oddly enough, this isn't listed as a horror comedy, but I believe it really should be. And it's comedy done the right way. It's, Jeremy and I have touched on it here, a couple times. Just the dialogue between friends and the interactions. I like how they lay that out plot-wise. It works. I think this movie's a lot of fun. And is the plot overbloated? Yes. But you know what? It is what it is. So not perfect, but nothing is.
Jeremy, what did you think of the plot of the film? Did it work out for you? Is there anything you would have altered?
Yeah, I think there's, I don't know. I think maybe you could have tightened it down a little bit, like we said. I mean, I haven't seen the other 14 movies that are in this, whatever, fucking in this series. But I mean, it should stand on its own merit. I mean, if that's, if you're going to make more, I mean, like they all should at least be able to stand on their own if it's the only one you've seen. I mean, like, I wouldn't have to. I can't believe I have to do Marvel homework now to watch the other two to make the whole thing make sense. Like, I think we were talking about that with Terrifier, where it's like, wow, like 4 movies deep, are we finally going to fucking explain anything?
These films are very similar plot wise to how Terrifier builds. I will give you that.
Well, yeah, but that's the annoying thing about Terrifier. I shouldn't have to wait 4 fucking movies for it to make any sense at all. I don't know. I'm piecing it together, and I think I've got an idea. But I mean, I'm assuming we're finally going to get our answers in this next movie. But no, I mean, it's got a lot of you can, like I said, you can tell this is a love letter to slashers of the 70s and 80s. Like I said, you can tell Adam Green's a super fan of this kind of thing. There's a lot of stuff in this that I noticed that were reminiscent of it. Like, yeah, there's big deformed, deranged killer, which is, we've seen in Texas Chainsaw, and obviously Jason Voorhees, ironically enough. There's tropes of, like, I know it's coming because they're sitting in the boat, they're all having a nice time. I'm like, yep, there's gonna be a Jason Voorhees coming out of the water and grabbing her. I'm like, yeah, I've seen that movie. And he picks up his friend and smacks him into a fucking grave. I'm like, yeah, I think somebody did that with a sleeping bag, right? The ending was definitely Texas Chainsaw, because, like, he just pulls her out of the fucking water and screams in her face, and it just cut to black immediately. I was like, well, that was Texas Chainsaw, because it also just abruptly stops.
Yep.
I will say that ending was like, that was kind of cool, that I liked that little nod to it, but I was also like, oh shit, it was about to get good, and then you just stopped. I was like, oh. I was actually kind of excited for a minute. I was like, oh shit, he ripped dude's arm off and left him in the boat, pulled her up and screamed in her face. I was like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? Okay, I won't know now. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I thought
I'd cut out a lot of the. I'm sorry, out of the running back and forth and like not figuring out what to fucking do for like an hour, because I watched I hate that I'm like, I looked at the timestamp, like, okay, are we gonna do something? It's been an hour now, and we have like 20 minutes left. Jesus Christ. I was gonna end it with I think it was Marcus who said it was about as fun as a bag of dicks. So.
That's fun for some people. You never know. Don't judge.
I mean, you can do that. You can send a whole bag of gummy bear dicks to people. That's kind of funny. It's a funny prank.
But yeah,
look it up on your own time. You didn't hear it from me.
Yeah. If you do it, make sure you send it to Casey as well.
See, look at that. I got Cora with it. Or you should know better than that. You know that you should know that's the thing.
Yeah,
someone has absolutely done that.
Gummy bears have private bits.
Yeah, apparently they just bag them up and sell them. That's their own thing. It's
Yeah,
wow.
they take them to the gummy bear factory and lop them off, clean out the stomach, and then they mail them out.
You gotta
Cor-
separate it and neuter them.
Cora might remember I sent that funny shaped lollipop to Casey as well.
Yeah, that lollycock, isn't it called or something? Back in the derailed. Yeah, that was great.
The lollycock. Yeah, but you know, I look at its core. I think the plot was pretty good. I mean, there is a monster haunting the swamps. You've seen some notable horror movies take place in the swamp, but
There's been quite a few.
There's been quite a few and some very good ones. For some reason, it's not a place that you see regularly in horror. It's like once every 10 years or so, they'll kind of visit that setting. And I don't understand why there isn't more there, because there's so many great stories that aren't necessarily horror. I mean, because I've always thought I'm a Charlie Daniels fan. Charlie Daniels band, great music.
Hell yeah.
Tex, you've heard Legend of Woolly Swamp.
Oh,
I know you've heard that song. I've it's in my playlist that I listen to a lot, and I've often wondered, I'm like, this sounds like a cool premise to like a thriller horror movie. And I've often wondered why somebody hasn't kind of taken that song and been like, I'm going to build a horror movie around this. Because a swamp is a very dark and mysterious place. There's so much stuff there that could kill you, from alligators to snakes to insects to all kinds of different ways you can die. Why is
crazy rednecks with guns? They have all of them.
Have you tapped into that more often, because there's so much to build on there? And so when you say there's a guy in the swamp that's killing people at night, I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm ready. Build that world for me and let me play. Let me have fun in it. So the plot works just fine. Victor Crawley is a name in history that has always had a bit of he's got his own kind of background anyway. I'm trying to pull up some stuff about Victor Crawley so I can think exactly what it is, but all of a sudden I lost where I was at. But yeah, so I mean the plot was fantastic. I see this a lot, that there are a lot of movies that have great premises but not great executions, and I think that's kind of where this movie lands for me a little bit. Great premise, not fantastic execution. Better than bad. It's not bad, but I think the execution could have been a little bit better, and I cannot find anything about Victor Crawley anywhere online for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, so the character definitely has a background that is interesting, one that has a lot to play with, and the plot was executed okay, not fantastic. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think that the director Adam Green, he's just kind of, I think because he's kind of all over the place doing a lot of different things, that maybe he needs to just stop and concentrate on directing the story and organizing it from that point of view, instead of trying to be the actor, director, whatever. I mean, he's a busy guy. Just about every film that he's associated with, he's got at least 2 roles. He's like, if some of them he's writer, producer, editor, actor, everything. It's like, I talk all the time to text about Jerry Jones trying to do everything with Dallas. That's probably one of the things that's holding that team back.
Well,
you got yourself spread too thin. You got to step back and say, okay, you handle this part, you handle this part. I'm going to direct and focus on the story. And I feel like that's one of the things that he should be doing if he wants to continue to make films, just focus on directing, maybe writing, but because I don't have a whole
to
lot
that
of
point though.
Yeah, and some of the dialogue was good. Like the humor is definitely there in this movie.
Oh yeah,
I think it tries to act like a slasher, but leans too much into the comedy. It's like I'm okay with the comedy horror as long as the balance is right. But I feel like there are times where he should have gone to the horror, but instead he went to the comedy. Like the whole like it seems like every 5 minutes these 2 bitches are arguing about something, and I'm just like, come on, dude.
Oh, I love them. Oh no, I will not have you disparage them. They're dial. I would listen to that 24/7. You freaking kidding me? I will fight you.
This need like a podcast. Need to just be bickering.
He's got all 17 volumes of Bayou Beavers on DVD.
Hey, Jenna and Misty, they make the they put this movie over the top for me. Of course, they're 2 smoking hot women, half naked, making out with one another. But once they start bitching each other out, it's like, okay, you had my attention, but now you really. I love their dialogue back and forth. I mean, it's just so many good. Your nipples are dumb. Where besides horror are you going to hear that in a movie? It is hilarious. I don't care what anybody says. I love it. Dude. I think it's great.
like I said, it's like sometimes it should lean into the horror, but diverts from that, goes to the comedy. And it's either those two chicks that are fighting, or it's these two old people who are just out of place, don't have any business being there. It's like, it would have been better if you would have had one or the other of those things and not both of them. Because I think when you should be focusing on the story, helping build that world a little deeper, or maybe having one or two extra kills in there or whatever. Instead, we're going to these two chicks that are trying to insult each other. You know, you have close on your tongue, and this old guy.
The reason why that does that is if you watched The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, the guy right there, they premiered Victor Crowley on their show a few years ago, and they had the entire cast, including Adam Green, on the set, and he talked about the making of this film. And he said, at this time in horror, all we were getting was like the torture porn, like the Hostels and the Saws. He liked the old school 80s style slashers where you had kind of the, oh, hey, well, let's go skinny dipping in the lake kind of scenes that break up the movie. That's what he was shooting for while making this. And if you know the backstory, once you watch it again, it really shows through. Like Jeremy said, this being a love letter to like 1985 slasher horror. It's shot like it, it looks like it, it feels like it. So if the movie feels odd, it's because it's not using a modern sense of storytelling. It's using that premise. You know what I mean?
I lost Jason.
We lost Jeremy.
He'll be back.
He'll come back. Hopefully his internet didn't go out like us.
Hopefully not. But like I said, but that's the dangerous spot when you're trying to make an homage to, the kind of filmmaking in a genre from years back. If you look at like the original Friday the 13th, it's like it wasn't just these people getting hacked up by Mrs. Voorhees. I mean, the kills were cool, but there was a story there. There's a history to why this is happening. There's a mystery that goes along with that entire movie, because you don't know from the very beginning that it's Mrs. Voorhees doing this. It's something that is revealed to you towards the end. So all these people are dying, you're piecing it together as to why. Then you figure out that it's Mrs. Voorhees because her kid died and she's mad, yada yada yada.
But
there's a mystery element there that helps you build a story, as opposed to just kids are going skinny dipping and getting killed by some crazy guy at Crystal Lake. It's not that one dimensional. This movie didn't really, to me, have that dimension. It's like, it explains that Victor Crawley's out there and she's there because her dad and brother disappeared. And there's no real building on that at all. It's just that she's there.
Once again, to go back to the Terrifier, but before I talk about that, I'll go back to the thing you said a minute ago. This movie, if I were to compare this movie to a Friday the 13th, this is more of a Friday part 4 or part 3, 4, or 5 than it is 1. And 1, they didn't tell you who the killer was. They tell you the origin, like just flat out, here it is. There's no Mrs. Voorhees. It's this guy right here. So I don't think it's a real fair comparison to Friday 1. It's not a whodunit. It's a slasher gore stacked bodies deep and don't give a shit.
Well, I'm just using that as an example, because even all the classic films, like even if you want to go back farther to something like the original Chainsaw, it's like there is an explanation that happens at various points along the way that builds the story. It's not just other running around killing teenagers with a chainsaw. This movie doesn't really build that story. It explains to you that she's there looking for her dad, and that's really kind of it. There's not really anything past that. Then you, like I said, you spend 20 minutes of these chicks arguing with each other and being goofy. You spend another 10 minutes of this old couple that's kind of out of place, and why are they even there? And then a couple of
why would they go during Mardi Gras week to Bourbon Street?
And then him whining about his girlfriend leaving him, and how do I hit on this chick? It's like there's nothing involved in the actual story. And then by the time you get to the third act, it's like, oh, here's Victor Crawley, but I don't know anything about him other than he's the killer and we need to avoid him. And that's like, I don't feel
until they give you the whole backstory with it. So you do get the origins within this film, and as the films progress, that's why I say all of the films 1 through 3 are like 90 minutes. These are best watched back to back, because this film did the Damien Leone Terrifier thing before that came about, where they they don't. They give you as much story as they need for that film to play out, and then they tell you the rest later. It's not an exposition dump in one movie, and it builds off of that later. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different kind of filmmaking.
Well, you don't need the dump, but you need to explain some. I still need some steps to be taken to get me into the story, because it's like
Right.
we in the beginning. Her dad and her brother run across Victor Crawley. Okay, that's the start. That was a good beginning. But then we transfer over to the people who are going to spend most of their time in the movie. You know, the Joel David Howard and all the people, and
Right.
it's a bunch of bullshit that doesn't matter. Him whining about his girlfriend. You get a little bit of exposition from Tony Todd. His one.
Well, that's just the dumb things to try to get you interested into those characters. That's
But
all
that's-
that is.
But the dumb things for the next 45 minutes of the movie. Your entire second act is
Right.
dumb shit. That's
Right.
a
No,
complete
I
waste of
agree.
time.
I agree.
That's a complete waste
Yeah.
of time. And then after we finally run into Victor Crawley, that's when she explains everything. Oh, my brother and my dad came out here, now they're missing. I came to find them. And it's like you could have explained that earlier and then built more story onto that instead of giving me 40 minutes of dumb shit that didn't matter to the story.
Well, I think that. Well, actually, there is partially kind of a comparison for me, I would say, to the original Friday here, where the mystery character isn't the killer in this movie, but the hero. Whereas in the original Friday, you didn't know who the killer was. In this one, they use the Mary Beth character. They kind of keep her stuff mysterious towards the end of the second act, going into the third, and then that's when the why is told. You've seen a lot of slasher films. You know what I'm talking about. Slasher films were made different. Most slasher audiences aren't looking for, oh, this needs to be smart. This needs to be compelling. That's not what we're going to the movies for. We're going to see the blood, guts, gore, and tits. Let's just be real here and give us just enough story to get us to the next scene. That's what I love about it.
I want to see the blood and tits, but at the same time, I want some story as well.
Well, of course. Right. That's why I say you're not. I wouldn't call you an elevated horror fan. You're somewhere in the middle. You like both sides of it, whereas I'm deep down in the swamps over here. No pun intended.
Yeah,
But,
I want the blood and gore and the spitting ass and the boobs if it works.
Right.
But like I said, this is my problem with the first Terrifiers. It had all the visuals of a horror, but no story. And it's like
Right.
all the great horror movies have a little bit of story to combine with the visuals and really draw in movie fans. But if all you want is the visuals, it's like okay, sure, this movie works for that, but I mean, it's a horror comedy. They don't want to call it a horror comedy. It's like I still want.
It's kind of in the vein of like an Evil Dead 2, I would say.
If you wait until the last act to tell me tell me why I'm even watching this movie, then you've kind of blown it. Because from the beginning, it's like you spend the first few minutes introducing me to the characters. That's fine. Maybe the scene in the swamp with Robert Englund and his son and her dad and brother, why they're there. I get it. That's fine. Good opening, and then the rest of the movie, and then for the rest of the first act, for most of the second act, again, what did that have to do with the story? It's like, okay, so you're introduced to the guy, the young kids. He's bitching about his girlfriend or whatever. He wants to go on some supernatural ghost hunt in the swamp or whatever the hell his motivation was.
I've done that before. It's fun.
There's no 20-something-year-old guy in New Orleans on Mardi Gras that is skipping out on Bourbon Street in beads and flashing women to go boat around a swamp all night. Notwithstanding, but I mean, it's like, and then it's just like him bitching with his girlfriend, and then you meet her, and she's standoffish, but whatever. And then the whole Bayou Beavers, and then the whole girls sniping each other, and I'm like, is there a story? Is there a reason why I'm here now? Because it's like you introduced me to the film with these two guys getting killed by Victor Crawley. Great. Let's get back to that instead of me listening to these two girls talk about which one has syphilis. It's not. It's funny in spots that those moments of levity are good in humor, but it's like 20, 30 minutes of straight these two chicks and the two old people being really out of place. I'm like, I need. Okay, get back to the movie. Get back to why I'm here. Get back to the legend of Victor Crawley. Let this girl act a little more mysterious to maybe build the attention on her a little bit. None of this movie matters until you get to the third act, and that's when it finally starts to get good again. You know what I mean? It just seems like it's
Right. I get you.
It's a lot of wasted film when you have a pretty rich story to tell, because Victor Crawley, he was the whole thing where the kids set him on fire or whatever, and it's good horror.
By the way,
it's good horror movie stuff, but you don't get to it until it's a little too late in the movie for it to really suck me in. I mean, at that point, all you've got
those kids become real important, especially in the second and third movies. By the way.
Yeah, but that doesn't do any good for this movie.
Oh no, I'm just saying this is their introduction. But for anybody who wants to go forward, remember those kids. I'll say that.
But I don't know where Jeremy went. He must be having some kind of issue.
I guess his internet died like it did at the end of last week.
It must have. I don't know. I'll try to get a hold of him here in a second. But let's see. Where am I at with this now? Let's talk about just the kills. I mean, I can't really complain about the kills too much. The kills were pretty solid.
Oh, I love them.
What did you think of the overall kills, the visuals, and which one of them stood out to you the most?
Yeah, practical kills are always tremendous. My favorite would be Jenna getting the belt sander to the face and then impaling on the pitchfork. I think that's just an amazing kill to see. You get everything from an axe to the face to a freaking gas-powered grinder. Like, Jesus Christ, it sounds like a freaking, Texas Chainsaw, whatever. I love the kills in this movie. Watching him rip heads apart, just dismantling people back and forth. Hell, even the bite on the leg from the alligator, I thought was good. Once they're getting off of the boat. Of course, you can tell these are the kind of effects that were practical that they didn't have a lot of money to spend on. So the longer you keep the camera on them, the worse they look. So these are most effective with a quick, oh my God, shot, then you cut away to something else. Which that's one thing I do like about how they do with the kills in this movie. Because they only had, $200,000 to spend, you'd get a quick shot of the kill going down and then a cut away and just 10 gallons of blood would spray over something. I like how they do that in this movie. Like when Victor Crowley gets impaled on that fence post there at the end of the film, and as he's dying, he comes forward and spits that blood right into his face. I love how they do that as well. There's just so many cool kills within this. But yeah, my favorite has to be the belt sander to the face and then impalement by rake. I love that. Or pitchfork, pitchfork. But I dig it.
Yeah, the belt sander to the face. The reason why I thought that kill was so fun was because
I love it.
It didn't kill immediately. It's like
belt sander to the face, dangling, and cool.
And then down to the knees they go, and then he goes and deals with somebody else while that person's still like, I see the face all queued up. I was like, and then goes back and finishes the job, which is really fun. That's a fun way to do things. As much as I hate to say it, watching the old couple get whacked down, I was like,
they were good. Oh, that was so good.
They were so out of place. Look, as soon as I saw them on the bus, I was like, "There's no way they survive."
No.
Their deaths hopefully will be quick and painless, but no, they were not. I wish I could have gotten a good picture of what happened to her, but I had trouble. Believe it or not, I had trouble finding good screen caps in this movie. But when he gets it, he gets it brutal, man. It wasn't just like Victor walks up and rips him in half, like it kind of looks like in this picture.
No, he hacks at him, just whack.
Yeah, he gets him behind, down to his knees, and just kind of whacks at him with that hatchet. Yeah. And slowly right through his torso, and I'm like, wow, that's one of those great visceral, time-consuming. I don't know what he felt, but he wasn't happy.
Something else that makes that kill so good. He goes whack, whack, whack for a while. Then he grabs a handful of the bloody stuff, throws it away, and then goes back to hacking him some more. So he's like, dude, you're really gonna get it. He spent some time with this thing. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm drawing a blank on some of my pictures here, but I got a bunch of pictures of Victor Crawley. But it's there's his belt sander kill. Yeah, I knew I had.
Yep. I love that. That is my favorite.
And then watching him chase the dude's wife down, and then grab her like this, just rip her head,
and just rip. Yeah.
It's obvious the close-up shot of that it's some latex and shit. But I'm like, damn, that's so.
Of course, yeah.
I love it when the
It
camera
works.
gets right up on the kill. Look, I know it's special effects. I know it's latex. It's not real, but
It's more believable than pulling a CGI head.
So good. Those
Oh,
were
yeah.
probably and they come right back off the other. So it's like you watch him get chopped in half, one swipe at a time, and she goes to run away. He catches her and just rips her head right open. I was like, that's a cool horror sequence right there. That was some good shit. I was really impressed with that one. But
Now, I will say, I think the most brutal kill was when, I can't remember his name, but the black dude gets literally his chest ripped apart from behind. Like Victor Crowley just straight up grabs him and he's pulling him apart like he's like an oyster or something. He's like, you're getting split in half, and he's like, his chest is coming out, telling him to run right there in the graveyard. That's another brutal kill. Like that one rocks.
Yeah, so I was just texting Jeremy. He said, "I swear I'm this fucking close to Office Spacing my laptop." For those who see Office Space, you know what I'm talking about. So he's having some internet connection problem. His computer's not connecting to the internet the way it's supposed to.
It's 2 weeks in a row this has happened.
He's working on it. He's working on it. We'll be all right. But yeah, he'll come back. And if not, then I'm sure he'll be back next show. But let's see. I forget where I was at now. Yeah, we talked about the kills. I guess we can get into the trivia now. I thought I was going to have Jeremy here to carry this out a little bit more, but not a whole lot of trivia. I was really disappointed for a movie that is now, what was it, 2007? 2006.
2006.
It was released in 2007, but 2006 we'll call it. I'm really surprised that for a movie that's almost 20 years old that we didn't have better trivia, but there really wasn't a whole lot here. There is some good stuff.
I've got a few points that you may or may not have, but I'll let you go first.
We'll get to them maybe. I don't know. We'll see what I got. But writer and director Adam Green actually created a no CGI rule for post-production. The only CGI that was used to remove on-screen wires and camera setups. That's big horror. That's the effects for horror are the way to go if you can make it happen. It's more real. It's more visceral. There's the lighting for CGI and stuff. It always looks a little off. Is that uncanny valley? It just can't do it. So practical effects is the way to go for horror always if you can do it.
Well, what does that line right above your head say? Old school American horror. They didn't have the CGI in 1985 to do this when they did Friday the 13th Part 5 and 6. So the same rules apply for this one. That's why it looks the way that. That's why it's so dark. That's why all of these things.
I don't know if it was Kevin Bacon that did it or not, but like when Kevin Bacon gets it in the first Friday the 13th movie, the whole arrow through the throat thing when he's lying on the cot. I don't remember if it was him or somebody else from the movie. I remember years ago seeing an interview about how they did that, and it was just like I think he had.
They created.
He had like his head through a hole, and there was like a fake body.
Yeah, he actually drove. They created from the neck down a double of his body. He's on his knees under the bed with his head oddly sticking out, and Tom Savini is under the bed with a tube like that is connected to that. That's why you see the blood shoot out because it wasn't working, and Tom Savini literally had to blow real hard in that tube to get the blood to shoot out of the throat like it. So that's how
it worked. Great effect.
It's one of the most iconic kills ever. I mean, not just because it's Kevin Bacon, but people had never seen that on screen before. Not like that anyway. So,
yeah, because it wasn't until you get into, I mean, even going back to like Chainsaw in 77 or 74 or whatever first year it came out.
Yeah.
Even then, it's like the effects were, you couldn't really, well, honestly, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm probably wrong at this, is the original Chainsaw is probably one of the first movies I can think of where they actually got the camera in close to a lot of kills. Because at that point, horror had been kind of like you pull the camera away so that way the flaws and the effects weren't as obvious. But as you got farther and farther into the 70s and especially in the 80s, they started really displaying the kills. So that's when the effects had to make a giant leap forward because they didn't have to be believable, but be cinematic. You know what I mean?
There was a lot of B-rate movies that showed kills. Now, the two main ones I can think of right now would be Psycho and then Black Christmas, which came out in 73. I believe it predates Chainsaw by a year, and you really got to see some of the up close kind of stuff. But yeah, once we got to, I mean, once how Chainsaw comes out, Halloween in '78, then we're off to the races with Freddy and Jason for a few years until Michael comes back in '88. They were literally making this stuff up as they went, and there wasn't a guidebook, there wasn't rules. I mean, Tom Savini comes back from the war, and that's why he's so good at this stuff. But I mean, he did everything from Maniac Cop, the Friday the 13th movies, so many movies that he worked on with this genre. That's why he's one of the kingpins of it. So yeah, they were literally making it up as they went. That's why he's so iconic.
Let me see. If you watched the first Hatchet movie, if you watch the first 3 Hatchet movies in a row without opening or ending credits, it would be one uninterrupted storyline revolving around just a few days.
Yep, over 2 days. Or I guess about 2.5 days.
I'm tempted to do this
because it works.
Because I really do like it when you get a series of movies that happens in a really tight time frame.
Yeah,
I've always kind of liked that. So it's like I may have
the only thing that may throw you now. Would it throw you off if a key role was recast with somebody else?
I already know.
You forget that?
I already know. I can forgive it. I mean, I can forgive it unless there's a really big quality drop off.
Well, I will say
because I've watched franchises have swapped actors in and out before. I mean, the MCU's done it a bunch of times with a couple people. Other franchises have done it. I mean, like I said, if the movie's good, I can overlook it really easily. Or if the
I do think
it really easily.
Kind of like how you like, because I know how you weren't really a fan of the first Terrifier. You liked 2 more than you liked 3 better than any of them. I think you would like the Hatchet 1 through 3 films probably the same way, because as you get deeper, you get more story. And the reason why I say, do you mind the role being recast? Is, like I said earlier, the role of Mary Beth, it goes from Tamara to Danielle Harris, which, I mean, from the Halloween films, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Roseanne, she takes over that Mary Beth role and really makes it her own. And her acting is better. I mean, Danielle Harris is a better actress. And that's why I think you would like those movies better, because you still get all the blood, guts, and gore, but they up the story levels really deep. So, I do think you should watch all 3 of them back to back. It does. I do agree with that factoid. It makes it better.
And going to Danielle Harris probably won't hurt at all either, because I like Danielle Harris.
Oh no, Danielle Harris. Oh, gorgeous as always. Yeah, she's great. Yeah, I've always been a fan of her.
She was in Daylight. I didn't know that. I haven't watched that movie in a long
She's done a ton of low budget horror films.
Yeah, I remember her being Bruce Willis's daughter in The Last Boy Scout. I thought her character was kind of fun.
Yeah, she's. I mean, she's Jamie in Halloween 4. She's Annie in Rob Zombie's Halloween films. She's one of my favorites. I like. I love her and Scott Taylor Compton, the Real Laurie Strode podcast. I can't remember the name of it right now, but they do a horror podcast as well. It's kind of fun to listen to.
Yeah, let's see. This movie was actually a small connection to a terrible natural disaster. This movie was the last production to shoot in Louisiana before Hurricane Katrina hit and tore up the area.
Yep. Yeah, Hurricane Katrina destroyed New Orleans, unfortunately. We all remember that. But while you had Sean's picture up there real quick, one thing I will say, something else, he is the only person that is in all 4 Hatchet films and plays 3 different roles within the movies. He plays both versions of his brother, and he plays somebody else in 3. So he gets a lot of screen time in these movies. He is great. In this one, he plays a fake Asian Cajun. In the second one, he plays a fake French Cajun, but still Asian. It's funny how they do it. And the third one, he's just a regular guy. So Parry Shen is hilarious in these movies.
That is one of the fun things about anthology movies. It's like, yeah, you can have the same character come back and play some goofy version of himself.
Well, that's what's so funny in Hatchet 3. There's a scene where one of the paramedics is taking bodies out of the swamp. He's like, "Yeah, there was an Asian guy in the swamp that looks just like you." And Parry Shen is playing that that EMT. He's like, "What are you racist? You saying all Asian people look alike?" And it's a put up of themselves because it's the same guy. So they have fun with it. It works.
That's when you can have fun with it for sure.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. To keep the set hidden, the movie was actually called Love Rodeo during production. I mean,
Love Rodeo. Well, considering Bayou Beavers, that works.
Why didn't they just call it Bayou Beavers? That'd have worked out great. That'd have been a great work.
I need, and I'm sure it's on the internet somewhere, but you remember the Girls Gone Wild logo? You know how they had that on t-shirts?
I've actually been watching the documentary on, I think it's Amazon maybe, about the Girls Gone Wild.
I need a Bayou Beavers t-shirt that would like the logo of that on the t-shirt. I would wear that everywhere I went. That's something that I would buy.
There's a t-shirt idea. I got to get somebody on that. We'll put it on the merch shop. There's my kid.
Hell yeah.
What's up, Keegan? How you doing, kid?
What's up,
He
Keegan?
called me earlier. He was like, let's play some Fortnite. I'm like, I can't. Me and Jeremy are doing YouTube stuff tonight.
There you go. Yeah, we're doing
now you see, Keegan, go look up Bayou Beavers. You will you will certainly find these two girls right here.
Yeah. Once you start watching Bayou Beavers, you will no longer care about Fortnite there, brother. I'll tell you right now. That will no longer matter in your life. It's much better, I promise.
And remember, one of those girls, the nipples are dumb. Her nipples are dumb.
And if they're itchy, you need to stay away. Just remember that as well.
And the other one's got syphilis tongue, apparently. At least that's what I heard. I don't know for sure. That's what I've heard. But there is something very wrong with the name of this movie. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yeah, he's not using a hatchet. He's using especially in the
hatchet, per definition, is a small axe with a single bit or blade. Thus, the poster image axe is not, in fact, a hatchet.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, it's the same thing as you've seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre poster. Like, you remember what that looks like, right? Why in the hell is Leatherface?
I actually almost bought one the other day from online, but I'm gonna wait until
go look at the original poster. He's holding the chainsaw upside down. I can actually show you a picture of it while I'm talking. Like, it's very important for when you're doing a slasher film for, the artwork to match up. Like Jeremy and I have even talked about this behind the scenes about how, who holds a chainsaw upside down? Like, see right there. See? Like, so many people have never picked up on it. I don't know why they never saw it, but that shit's upside down. You know what I mean? But there's an axe on the cover. But to be fair, he kills with he kills with a fence post, a gas powered grinder. He kills with anything. I guess they wanted the visual of the double bladed axe for the poster art.
Yeah, I very nearly got and I may still get this on canvas or stretch of vinyl or something like that. Let me share this with you guys really quick. This website's gonna get me in trouble. This website's gonna get me in a lot of trouble.
Keegan says, I've been around the ringer once or twice. Oh, I'm sure he's seen plenty Bayou Beavers. I'm pretty sure he knows what's up.
But it's like this is the one website, because there's posters.com, there's allposters.com. This is the website I was telling you about where they have like first run posters of like Star Wars and stuff. There is a first run poster from Pinocchio on this website that is $17,000.
Jesus Christ.
And if I had the money, that shit would be hanging on my wall right now.
Now, how much is the Texas Chainsaw one?
This one, let me look around a little bit, since we don't have Jeremy. We can vamp a little bit.
Right.
This let me back up to just now. You can get that. This is just posters. These are reprints. $32, $20 for this. They have
that one on the right, which is cool, is not official artwork, but that's why.
That's now. If I go to sort this by price high to low, let's see. You've got
send that Jaws from the Dr. Nick. He'll be fighting himself to get his wallet out.
Yeah, these are all vinyl.
You got The Thing, Silence of the Lambs. Oh, yeah,
you're looking at something just shy of $500. But these aren't first run though. These are all
right.
I wonder if I could find some good first run posters. Classic movies, maybe. Find some good first. So
while you're looking it up, I will say, as far as the Hatchet poster goes, it may not be accurate, but that looks like the cover of like a album like Rob Zombie would make. Just like a bloody axe on the front of a T-shirt or something.
That's
Like that looks like very cool artwork. It lets you know right away what kind of movie you're going into. Like this isn't Gone with the Wind you're about to watch. So for that alone, I can forgive, and I love the movies. But yeah, it is not accurate to being a hatchet on the front of the poster.
Yeah, it might be the other site, maybe this is the wrong site, but yeah, it's definitely it's some shit. That will get me in a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Favorites. Where is the posters? Movie posters. This is the one. Movieposters.com. Oh, is this the one either? No, this isn't either. Maybe
now, how do they verify that these are first run? Like, how do you know that for sure? Is it marked like sent from the studios or the movie theaters and so? Like, who is verifying these things for that price?
I am not sure how you verify these.
That would be my first question.
I don't think this is the one either. I don't think.
I mean, if I'm going to drop, let's say $500 on a Terrifier poster or Texas Chainsaw or whatever,
no,
I want evidence that it's legit. You know what I mean?
No, it was definitely the other website that had. Let me see if I can find that Pinocchio one. Pinocchio 19. Well, it says 1940, but that's not exactly right. Let's see. That's not the one I'm thinking of either. Well, I'm done looking at this now because I'm getting kind of bored of it. But yeah, there are some, like, they have like first run Star Wars posters that are $5,000.
Jeez.
And because I've got a couple of posters. I've got the one that I took down because the thing fell, but I've got some like first run posters from like the 80s that I got for like $30 of like kind of obscure movies. Like Taps or Gotcha or something like that. I've got a couple older posters, and they're a bit worn. You know, they've been folded a few times, so they've got a few tears in them. They're not exactly mint at all, but yeah, if I had money burning a hole in my pocket like that, oh yeah, that $17,000 Pinocchio poster from 1940 would be on my wall right now.
I got no words for a Pinocchio poster.
Yeah, you guys. I won't tell you flat out if I've won the lottery, but there will be signs. There will be. Like, what's that Pinocchio poster?
Frank will be streaming from the lobby of his own private theater with the posters on the wall behind it. So,
damn right.
Hey, that'd be a great background. I dig that.
But let's see, a couple more pieces of trivia. Oddly enough, Victor Crowley only kills one person with a hatchet this entire movie.
Yeah, well. Hell, I think Michael Myers only stabs Bob in the first movie. He kills everybody else by choking or rope or whatever. I mean, that happens a lot in slasher films. But that just goes to show. I mean, this is Victor Crowley is a Jason clone, literally being played by a Jason actor. Jason kills with everything, from fence post to sleeping bag, just like Victor Crowley does. So, makes sense for the character.
That's still one of my favorite kills in all of horror, when he puts the girl in the sleeping bag and beats her up against a tree.
Oh, it's a tremendous kill. Yeah, I just whacks the shit out of him on that fucking.
Every time I see that, I'm like, yeah. Oh, look at Jarrett. Look at Keegan talking shit.
Hey, hey, we don't have Casey here to cause trouble. I guess Keegan's gonna fill that slot for tonight. So
true. We haven't seen Casey yet.
All good.
You know what? I haven't played in a while.
Okay.
I haven't played Casey in a while.
Have you seen my wiener?
I haven't played that in a while, so I just feel like doing it.
Hey, but we're talking 80s slasher, trashy horror. Why not some sleepaway camp? It fits. It fits the theme, by God.
It works.
It's all good.
Let's see. I don't know. I was saving this for Jeremy because I love to torture him. It's what I do. It's fun. But I don't know. What do you want to guess on the body count? I don't know if you were keeping. It's relatively low. That's my inclination when I see
Frank. I have became hip to your job, sir. Now, as I'm watching these films, taking my illustrious notes, I now count these kills, and I can tell you that there are 11, in fact. So I have your trump card, as they say.
According to IMDb, which I'm going to tell you right now, they are shady as fuck when it comes to body counts in horror movies.
Oh, they've been shady as fuck for a long time.
But according to IMDb, it says 11, including Mr. Crowley.
Yes. Yeah.
Now when they say Mr. Crowley, do they mean his dad or Victor Crowley?
I take that Mr. would infer the elder. So I would say that's Kane Hodder face show.
Okay. If you're talking about his dad, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't count it, so I don't know. But when I first read that, it said including Mr. Crowley, and I'm like, are you talking about Victor Crowley or his dad? Because
a lot of people will.
How did it say his dad? Didn't it say his dad died of a broken heart or some shit?
Yeah. He sat there for a decade and died of a broken heart. The line exactly.
But you see, I don't consider him. I don't know. I maybe in a roundabout way consider him a death in the movie. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if I count him.
See, there's two things
I'm
here.
saying 10.
You could count that Victor Crowley himself dies and add multiple deaths within this movie. I mean, he gets burned to death, he gets shot, he gets stabbed, and I mean, ultimately he comes back. So you could give him 3 or 4 deaths if you really wanted to. But I count 11 is what I got as I watched this 2 days ago.
I'm with that, and if you say it's 11 is accurate, then I'll go with it. But I still don't think that Mr. Crowley, his dad, could be considered a part of the body count because, I mean,
the fact that it's a line of dialogue, I think, gives it some credibility. That's why I say that.
He dies in the movie, but is he a part of the body count if he's not killed by the killer? So it's like if some random person walking down the street has a heart attack.
I get your point. I disagree with it, but I do get your point.
The movie. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. But I don't think it's.
Well, then you're going to have to start clarifying. Like, you're going to have to start clarifying deaths from kills, and that's when we start getting in the weeds on that.
I'm talking, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, do we count deaths that happen at the hands of the killer in the horror film? So if Jason's walking around Crystal Lake and he kills 5 teenagers, to me the body count is 5. If somebody who sees him kill somebody drops dead of a heart attack because he's scared, I don't really want to count that. Yeah, they're dying on screen, they're a death in the movie, but I don't really consider it part of the body count if he is killed as a direct action of.
I think it depends on which terminology you use from the beginning while asking the question. If you ask how many people were killed and how many people died, that infers to me 2 different things that you're going to get a different number either way. You know what I mean? Just kind of the simple answer.
I don't know. It's I don't know.
It feels like we're in Congress right now. Kind of. What dictation did he?
But you know what? That might be an idea for a stream one day. It's like we'll like, okay, let's talk about the tropes. What does it mean? What does it not? We can have, because I'm sure we have wildly different ideas about a lot of shit. We can have fun with the way we have fun with the what's a Christmas movie isn't kind of discussion.
I'm down.
It seems like that's a discussion that we could have one day.
Well, we need to do that, but there needs to be parameters. Don't be talking like what makes a Christmas movie. Then 30 minutes later, we're defining deaths versus kills in a horror film. Like we need to specify what genre we're talking about. But I do think that would be a fun stream. I'd be down to do that.
That would be fun. I don't know. I did just get a response back from American Werewolf. He's doing a Gene Hackman appreciation stream on Thursday. He's inviting.
Okay.
He has invited you and me, and
cool.
But yeah, Thursday we will likely be doing the episode 1 and 2 of Daredevil.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know we'll be live, but didn't Daredevil come out today?
It actually just went live tonight. I will probably be watching it tomorrow. While I am,
I'm hopeful, but I like the Daredevil show on Netflix, but Disney has me worried.
I don't know. Watch it, and if you want to, I mean, I'm going to reach out to Connor from Horny Goat to see if he wants to come do it with us. I meant to do it today and I didn't. But yeah, I don't imagine that stream is going to be very long. I mean, it might be an hour and a half because it's 2 episodes that dropped today. So we'll be watching that. But Yeah, that's the plan right now. Is that Thursday we're going to be doing Daredevil. As long, and I've heard it's good. I mean, some initial reviews have come out saying that it really does in a lot of ways pick up from where the Netflix series leaves off as far as the visuals and the great
Of
writing.
course, the Daredevil, the first one was good. Now, do you mean the first episode or the first show was good?
I've heard that the newer show is actually really good. It's been getting some pretty good reviews.
I hope so.
The real reviews from fans are going to be coming out over the course of the next 12 to 24 hours. But
I did hear one spoiler of
earlier said it's
a certain Marvel character that most people despise shows up later on. I'm not looking forward to, but
I'm okay if She-Hulk comes in because
no, it's not She-Hulk.
I like the dynamic between those two characters. That it's
they made Daredevil do the walk of shame. She-Hulk.
That was hilarious. I thought that scene was funny as shit. I'm not gonna lie.
I hated it.
In the context, I thought that scene was hilarious. The show itself was
Cora, like the first movie with Ben Affleck. Yeah, no, that was all right. I like that.
Oh yeah, she's talking about the Affleck movie. Well, the movie's all right. No, I'm talking about the
Casey likes to stick hatchet handles up his bum. Dr. Nick, you know what? Bravo. Slow clap for you. That was great. He brought his zingers and kept it on theme with the straight. Like that shows effort right there. I did that. Good job, sir.
Yes. You know, Cora, the whole reason I bought this shirt was when we were going to do we will eventually do this at some point. We were going to do our own little Harsh Truth Awards. I bought this because I wanted to dress up for the occasion, and we just never got around to doing it.
Hey, I'm wearing shiny stuff. I'm fancy tonight. I got my beads going.
I got my beads.
Some of these I picked up this weekend at a Mardi Gras party, but it's all good.
I've got my other, St. Patrick's Day is coming up, so I went and bought these. I just happened to be at the Dollar Tree earlier getting some snacks and drinks for work. But I got my other beads and my St. Patrick's Day hats over there on the shelf. Those will be coming out for St. Patty's Day. I don't know what day of the week that falls on, but I mean, we may end up doing.
We should review like Leprechaun in Space. Do one of the really bad. That would be a fun story.
That's not a terrible idea. That's not a terrible idea.
Do like
we did do the original Leprechaun already, so
Leprechaun in the Hood or in Space, because both of those are kind of the worst ones. Those would be fun to review.
I think of those two, I think Leprechaun in the Hood. I think that
that's what I'm thinking too.
I know I've seen it, but it's
probably been 20 years since I've watched it. But yeah, I've seen all the Leprechaun movies.
Yeah, you've got a couple weeks until you're 21 yet, so calm down, kid. Calm down. Calm down.
Here, I'll drink for you until you're 21. So cheers.
St. Patty's Day is on a Monday. Oh,
it's all good. Hey, we can celebrate a day later.
BJ says it's on Tuesday. It's
even better. There we go.
2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Hell yeah.
I know that can work out pretty well.
And BJ, make sure you stay around for the end of the show because I'm going to read you the titles that I have given 4 of my favorite kills within the Hatchet franchise, just because I like creeping you out now and making you all my confused. So just make sure you stick around. So I did this especially for you, BJ. So you got to stay.
Well, you may as well go to them because that's all I've got for trivia. Like I said, there wasn't a whole. I was really surprised and disappointed there wasn't more trivia for this. I mean, there was other stupid stuff like there was just dumb stuff that I didn't think was very interesting. But I mean, I found the most interesting ones and put them on there. I was actually really disappointed there wasn't more. But
well, there is one trivia point that you or there's 2 that I wanted to mention that you didn't get. When they say Quadge Island in this movie, they're talking about Kwajalein Island where Kane Hodder is from. In all of the Hatchet films, they mention Kwajalein in some shape, form, or fashion. Kane Hodder likes to put that into his, movies of, just a shout out to his home. But my favorite trivia point, and I don't think you've ever seen this film, but it's one of my favorites, and I watch it every Halloween. Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon, that documentary slasher film that also came out in the early 2000s, is technically in the same universe as this. Because in Hatchet 2, once again, the next day from this movie, there's a guy in Louisiana talking about how he's from Glen Hollow, and they have another slasher up there. Well, Glen Hollow is the town that Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon takes place in. So just a little fun, slasher nerd, whatever. But since BJ is here, Here's the nickname of some of the kills that I know BJ's gonna love. I'll start with maybe the least offensive to. We'll get to the worst one later, but we get a face fisting chainsaw halving. It is a tremendous kill with literally the biggest chainsaw I've ever seen. Like this puts anything like Leatherface has ever carried. Victor Crowley has the biggest chainsaw. We get a tabletop curb stomp. Now I'm not going to tell you how any of these kills go down, but this is also in Hatchet 2 as well. Dude gets straight up. It's pretty cool. We see a character get skinned alive and lives to talk about it like it's out of hell. Pinhead doesn't do as good as what Victor Crowley does with this skinning half of a person alive. We get a taco chop to one of the ladies, if you know what I'm saying, Frank. And it gets us in a very uncomfortable place with that very axe that you see behind it. Very painful to touch too. But my favorite kill in any Hatchet movie comes in Victor Crowley, Hatchet 4. You know, we reviewed Sleepaway Camp with starring Felicia Rose. Well, Felicia Rose is in Victor Crowley, a.k.a. Hatchet 4. She gets her arm ripped off, holding a cell phone while a call is going. Gets that same arm shoved straight up Main Street. The arm goes through her. Never drops the phone, and the phone call keeps going. It is so tremendous. It's pure artwork. It needs to be seen. Just what the kills alone within this franchise are worth sticking around and watching all 4 films. So I know how BJ loves her nasty, disgusting, gross horror. So I had to bring some of the highlights to her. So you're welcome, BJ. So I contributed this week. It's fine. So.
BJ don't listen to a word he says, or just take his word for it and be like, "Okay, Tex, they were very eventful kills." Okay, moving on. Now,
even though I'm telling you about these things, they need to be experienced. It's a lived-in kind of thing.
I'm pretty sure that whenever you talk about some of these great kills from horror movies, that she immediately leaves the stream and goes watches like an episode of Downton Abbey to cleanse her palate a little bit, and clean out her mind.
Oh, I guarantee you. If we ever do like a group hangout, she's going to try to wash my mouth out with soap. Probably give me a whooping or something, which I'll rightly deserve.
She's going to give you the mom look. She's going to take you down to your knees with the mom look.
Well, luckily I'm dead inside, so that doesn't affect me. But we'll figure something out. So
no, she's got the mom look down. I've seen her. She's got the mom look down.
Of course, I turned the stream volume down so I'll see Frank's mouth.
There's got to be some way to just to mute text somehow.
Oh, I'm sure YouTube has a mute me button that works specifically for me at this point. But
probably.
Yeah. Hey, Frank knows, but nobody else realizes how much self-censoring I've done, not talking about the opening of this film, because I tremendously wanted to really get into that scene. But I'll leave the piles of sticks alone. So it's
technically speaking, it was a quote from the movie. I mean, in context, if you understand, if you've seen the movie, you would have understood. Now, YouTube
just go off the side of the boat. I can't do it while you're watching. I'll bet
YouTube wouldn't have understood.
He's sitting there. Hey, I can't wait for the Rumble edit where I can truly, fulfill what I want to do. But it's fine. I'll be in free speech jail until YouTube goes away. It's fine. Whatever.
Cora's got to go walk the dog. She's going to be bouncing out. Good to see you, Lady Cora.
Have fun, Cora.
Watch the first couple episodes of Daredevil, and if you want to get in on it on Thursday, that's probably what we're going to be going into.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good enough place to start wrapping things up as any. Unfortunately, Jeremy had to leave a little early. He was having some computer issues. He will get that worked out. We will have him back hopefully on Thursday.
Yeah.
Until then, let me get your final thoughts on Hatchet from 2006. Tex.
Yeah, this is on the fun side of horror. Are the kills gross? Yes. Are they over the top? Yes. But that's the point. When you watch these kills, it doesn't look real, and it's not supposed to. The comedy in this film works. The boring section in the middle, yeah, it's there. There's a little too much dialogue for my liking. But overall, fun characters, fun cast, great execution for the most part, and I recommend you watch all 4 of these films. So go check them out.
Yeah, the visuals are good. God, there's real big story problems all along this movie. He kind of strays away from what should be not exposition, but I mean quality story building, and it doesn't work the middle part of the movie. Third act is kind of where this whole movie really finally finds its legs. I mean, all the best kills are in the third act. When you finally get to see Victor Crawley, it's really cool. He's a great look. Kane Hodder. That's all I have to say. And you know that performance is going to be fantastic. He is fantastic. You do get to see a couple of horror legends. You get to see Robert Englund. You get to see the late, great Tony Todd. Again, it's great. And look, it's a fun movie. I'm going to watch it again, not necessarily because I enjoyed it, even though it's fun, but because I want to make sure I can watch the movie and concentrate on it and not watch it while I'm putting a stream together. I feel like maybe I didn't see it fairly the first time because I was distracted. So I'm going to try to give this movie another watch so I can watch it, sit there and pay attention, and maybe I will catch some things differently. But
well, you do. At least do the first 3 frames. That's all I would recommend.
Well, I'm going to sit and watch this one
below.
again. I'm definitely going to sit and watch this one again because, like I said, I felt like I was distracted when I was watching it. I had to go back and rewind it a half an hour because I went down a rabbit hole of Kane Hodder and looking at other things about the movie, and I just wasn't paying attention. And I realized I was like, wait a minute, 3 or 4 people had died. I just totally missed it, so I had to rewind and go back. But yeah, I mean, it's where's it at? It's on Tubi, so you can free of charge watch it on Tubi. It won't cost you a dime.
All 4 of them.
Yeah, all 4 of them. Give them a try. Maybe you'll like them, maybe you won't. But the bottom line is, you got to watch them to find out. Always watch the movie. Don't make any any judgments ahead of time. Watch the movie, judge it on its own merits. That's how you should always watch a movie. Thanks to my amazing co-host, Tex, the man from the Lone Star State, the shape of Lone Star State. Where can the folks at home find you?
Here, hopefully praising Daredevil on Thursday. I'm really looking forward to that. But we've got Joe Bob Briggs coming back for the last drive-in this Friday. So make sure you're subscribed to Shudder and or AMC Plus. The last drive-in's coming out. Spencer Charnas, the lead singer of Ice Nine Kills, is going to be the guest. It's a monthly double feature. The first Friday of every month is when they show. So tune in with me and the rest of the Mutant fam and enjoy Joe Bob. So check it out.
As of right now, you will find me back here on Thursday going over episodes 1 and 2 of Daredevil on Disney Plus. I am so glad that we're finally getting into some good Marvel stuff. We're through the Chapek.
Fingers crossed. Anyway,
just getting great reviews. I'm really looking forward to watching it. It is on Disney Plus right now. Check that out before coming and watching us on Thursday. If for some reason I don't do it on Thursday, you will probably find me over on American Werewolf in New Jersey's channel. He wants to do a Gene Hackman appreciation video. Go watch, whether you watch it live or not, go watch his channel, go watch that video, support him.
Werewolf's cool, yeah. He's awesome.
He's a good dude. So, Night Watch is a good dude. Go find all the people in the description below. Go watch these guys, great movie fans, all of them. They're fantastic people to talk movies with. Until then, we will be back here. I don't know, whenever we get back here. We'll be back here at some point. Some stuff coming up next week. I don't know. Daredevils are going to be kind of the Thursday thing for a while. Mondays are going to be the reviews. Some stuff coming up. We will be around to talk about all that shit. So until next time, see you there. Adios. And
Frank,
do at some point.
Frank, you have to watch out for people around here. They exclusively sleep with their relatives. You have to watch out for that.
Well, it's the yeehaw people, like Jeremy says.
Hey, I'm a yeehaw people. I don't sleep with my relatives. By God, that's slander right there.
I actually told my girlfriend that Jeremy refers to people in Texas as the yeehaw people, and she laughed because she was born in Houston, so it works out nicely that way.
Oh, there you go. Just tell her that the Texas Rangers are better than those ass Tros, and we'll be fine.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.